10-year-old boy spends his last money on a poor dragon family. 7 hours later, aliens. Beginning. The city of Linares Port was a place of noise, steel, and shadows. Spaceships roared in and out of the atmosphere like shooting stars, and the streets smelled of burned fuel and desperation. Among the neon lights, food stalls, and towering glass spires, the poor lived huddled in alleyways and under bridges, forgotten by the wealthy aristocrats and traders who controlled the spaceport. 10-year-old Kieran Vay knew this life all too well. His father had disappeared 3 years ago on a mining expedition to the asteroid belt, and his mother worked endlessly in the factories, leaving Kieran to wander the markets, scrapping together coins however he could. Most days he scavenged or did odd jobs for merchants, but he never had much. That day, as the crimson twin suns of Linares set beyond the horizon, Kieran counted the last 30 credits in his pocket. Not much at all, barely enough for bread. As he passed the docking hangars, he noticed something unusual. A family of dragons, curled up by the cold metal walls, shivering under a tattered blanket. Dragons were rare in Linares Port, especially the skyborn drakes, creatures once worshipped as guardians on faraway worlds. These dragons weren't the fearsome giants of legends, but smaller, winged reptilian beings the size of horses, with intelligent eyes that glimmered softly. Their scales, normally radiant, looked dull, starved of energy. A mother dragon lay with her wings wrapped around 2 tiny hatchlings. A handwritten sign rested near them, in shaky galactic common. Hungry. Please help. Hatchlings weak. Kieran stopped. Dozens of passers-by ignored them. Some even sneered, calling them space leeches or cargo beasts. But Kieran couldn't look away. The hatchling's eyes, wide, glassy, and fading, reminded him of the time he had fallen sick and his mother had cried, fearing she'd lose him. He looked down at his 30 credits. It was all he had. Without it, he'd go hungry tonight. But his heart ached as the hatchlings whimpered weakly. Slowly, he walked toward a food stall nearby, bought a packet of dried meat and nutrient bread, and placed it in front of the dragon mother. The mother dragon's eyes widened in shock. She looked at him, then at the food, and whispered in a melodic voice, "Child, why?" Kieran smiled shyly. "Because you need it more than me." The mother bowed her head low, tears dripping onto the floor. She nudged the food toward her hatchlings, who eagerly began to nibble. The family's soft chirps filled the air, like music against the harsh noises of the city. Kieran didn't know then that this act of kindness would change not only his life, but the fate of the galaxy. Middle, the waiting hours. After giving away his last money, Kieran wandered through the city, his stomach rumbling. Hunger gnawed at him, but his heart felt lighter. He sat by the spaceport's observation deck, staring out at the stars as the hours crawled by. 7 hours later, as the night deepened, strange things began to happen. The air seemed heavier. The neon lights flickered. An unnatural silence fell across Linares Port. People stopped in their tracks, looking skyward. From the blackness of space, massive triangular ships emerged, blotting out the stars. They moved with terrifying grace, their hulls glowing with eerie blue symbols. Sirens wailed across the city. The Xylar Dominion, an alien empire feared for enslaving worlds, had arrived. Panic spread. Citizens screamed. Ships scrambled to flee, and the city's defenses powered up. But everyone knew Linares Port didn't stand a chance. The Xylar were conquerors. They didn't come to trade. They came to take. Kieran watched in terror as the first beams of energy struck the defense towers, turning them to molten slag. He wanted to run, but something inside urged him to find the dragon family again. His feet carried him back to the docking hangar. They were still there, huddled together, trembling as the alien ships descended. "Come with me," Kieran cried. "We have to hide." The dragon mother shook her head weakly. "No strength left, we cannot run." Kieran clenched his fists. He couldn't abandon them. Not after he had already given them everything. He looked up at the descending Xylar ships and felt a surge of defiance. And then something extraordinary happened. The bond awakens. One of the hatchlings, the smaller of the two, crawled toward Kieran. Its scales glimmered faintly with a golden light. The mother dragon gasped. "The hatchling chooses," she whispered. "Chooses what?" Kieran asked, confused. The dragon mother's eyes locked onto his. "You fed us when no one else would. Dragons remember kindness. The bond awakens." Suddenly, Kieran felt a warm flood through his chest. The hatchling pressed its forehead to his, and images flashed in his mind. Soaring skies, burning suns, ancient battles. He realized he could feel the hatchling's heartbeat inside his own. They were connected. Before he could fully comprehend it, the alien attack intensified. A Xylar drone ship swooped down, scanning the hangar. Its metallic limbs clicked as it moved toward the dragon family. Kieran's fear transformed into fierce determination. He stood in front of the dragons, spreading his arms wide. "Leave them alone," he shouted. The drone aimed its weapon, but before it could fire, a burst of golden flame erupted from the hatchling, small but powerful enough to blast the drone back. The explosion lit the hangar in firelight. The mother dragon gasped again. The bond has made him strong, stronger than any dragon alone. Kieran's head spun, but he understood one thing. He couldn't let the Xylar take the dragons. The flight through fire. With chaos spreading, Kieran guided the dragons through the burning city. Alien drones hunted the streets, capturing civilians in energy nets. Buildings collapsed as the Xylar bombarded the defenses. The bond with the hatchling gave Kieran strange new instincts. He could sense where danger lurked, as if the hatchling's senses were flowing into him. More than once, he pulled the dragons into hiding seconds before a patrol passed, but they couldn't run forever. At the edge of the city, they found themselves cornered by a squad of Xylar enforcers, tall insectoid warriors with armored carapaces and energy spears. The dragon mother tried to shield her young, but she was too weak. Kieran's heart pounded. He felt the hatchling's fear and his own merge into one. Suddenly, the golden light flared again, surrounding them both. The enforcers lunged. Kieran raised his hands, and a burst of energy, not flame, but something purer, blasted outward, knocking the aliens to the ground. The hatchling roared beside him, its flames joining his light. Together, they forced the Xylar back. The enforcers hissed in shock. A bonded one impossible. Kieran didn't know what a bonded one was, but he knew they had to escape. Guided by the bond, they fled into the ruins beyond the city. Ending. The revelation. Hours passed as they hid among the jagged rocks of Linares' wastelands. Above, the Xylar ships tightened their grip on the city, enslaving the survivors. The dragon mother finally spoke, her voice weary but filled with pride. "Kieran, long ago humans and dragons fought side by side as guardians of the stars. It was called the Celestial Bond, a link that gave both strength. We thought it lost forever." Kieran swallowed hard. "But I'm just a kid." The mother shook her head. "It is not age. It is heart. You gave when you had nothing. That is why the bond chose you." Before Kieran could reply, the ground trembled. A colossal Xylar walker appeared on the horizon, scanning for survivors. Its cannons hummed, ready to fire. Kieran felt fear, but also something else. Courage, burning through the bond. He looked at the hatchling, who gazed back at him with unshakable trust. "Let's do this," Kieran whispered. The final stand. As the walker advanced, Kieran climbed onto the hatchling's back. Golden light surged through them both, and for the first time, the hatchling's wings spread fully. With a mighty roar, it leapt into the sky, carrying Kieran with it. They soared upward, dodging beams of plasma fire. Kieran's hands glowed, channeling energy through the bond, strengthening the hatchling's flames. Together, they struck the walker with a blazing torrent, melting its armor and sending it crashing into the wasteland. But the Xylar fleet had noticed. Dozens of ships turned their weapons toward the glowing figure of boy and dragon. "Too many," the mother cried. Kieran clenched his jaw. "Then we fight until we can't." The sky lit with fire. The hatchling dodged and weaved as blasts scorched the air. Every time Kieran thought it was over, the bond gave them new strength. Golden fire and pure light clashed against alien metal. And for a brief, shining moment, the people of Linares saw hope burning in the skies. A boy and a dragon, defying an empire. The escape and the legacy. Just as the Xylar prepared a final, devastating strike, another fleet appeared in orbit. These ships bore the insignia of the Galactic Coalition, long enemies of the Xylar. Inspired by reports of the mysterious bonded boy and dragon, they had come to aid Linares. Caught between resistance and reinforcements, the Xylar withdrew, their massive ships vanishing into the void. Silence returned to the skies. Kieran and the hatchling landed beside the dragon mother and sibling. The city lay in ruins, but the people were alive. Many gathered around, staring at the boy in awe. Whispers spread. The bond is returned. A new guardian rises. The mother dragon lowered her head to him. You are no longer just Kieran Bay. You are the first of the bonded guardians in 1,000 years. Kieran looked around at the broken city, then at the hatchling by his side. He was still just a boy, but he knew his life had changed forever. He had given his last 30 credits to a starving family. 7 hours later, he had become the spark that would reignite hope across the stars.